Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Like, lead them.
Lead them. Paul, when you go on your shows, you should say to, like, dude, lead them.
We beat them here after everything we've been through the last couple years.
Everything
No.
we've been
No, you're right.
Yes. Yes.
Right, so I actually did this because I'm a nerd and this is what I do.
Houston by 14 and a half.
Houston with a really easy schedule.
Golly, McSmalley.
92, 130, and 2.
Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious, he says. All this talk about who would you rather face in the playoffs. One of your places, NBC Sports, Boston, had a poll. Don't drag us into your polls. Whoever's our opponent, that's who we'll
Nothing
play.
dramatic about that at all.
So who do you want to face, Fred?
Lead them.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, and why don't I have a light on any cameras? I don't know. Anyway, no tally lights today, so we don't know which cameras are on. I'm thinking it's this one. But, yes, so huge win. Huge win.
Huge.
It's a true professional right there. Just, we have a little bit of a glitch going on. He fought right through it. He lasted 10 seconds before he had to what's going on.
I like to show people behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Show
How the sausage is
how the
made.
sausage is
It's
being
going to be
made.
hard if you have to go to your one for something,
But I start right off the bat. Great win.
Yeah.
Great win. I don't care how it transpired. You beat Baltimore in Baltimore, desperate team, bad matchup. We knew that going in. Tons of injuries, bad refereeing. You still won.
Yeah.
You still won.
Yeah.
And now the Patriots are in the playoffs.
Yep.
Nothing that can happen that can take the Patriots out of the playoffs.
No, nice to do it on your terms, too. I didn't really want to wait till, this team lost, and all of a sudden, on the Sunday night or Monday
Right.
night, we're in the playoffs. So it was nice to be able to do it on your terms.
Seal your own fate. So I love it. It's Paul. It's Deuce. Will Evan be by?
He was
Yeah.
just
I think he was
finishing his
finishing his
sandwich.
He just decided to take time off to eat a sandwich.
His blood sugar was
Most
low.
of us wait till a break and then we eat, but that's all right.
He couldn't do it.
I
He
have
couldn't
friends
do it.
in the mafia.
Yeah, so you got to watch yourself.
They'll work at Jersey Mike's. Okay.
Which, by the way, it's a pretty good story about Jersey Mike's with Evan. I don't know. We never shared that one on from our
Yeah, we'll
from our
get to that
parties.
later. But I know
It's a
people.
Victory Tuesday.
Yeah, people want to
Right,
talk
right.
about this Baltimore
wanna
game,
talk
what it
about it.
means. Obviously, we talked about the Patriots being in the playoffs, not the AFC East yet. That can happen this coming week if the Patriots win and Buffalo loses. Then they automatically get the AFC East
Correct.
this week.
Yep.
So still a lot to play for, obviously, in the regular season. There's Evan.
Hi.
You good?
Sorry, I was finishing my sandwich.
Why don't you wait till the break?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wait.
I jumped the gun.
Oh.
And then I was eating and then,
Looks like you got a nice haircut.
Yeah, I just got it this morning.
G&L,
Yep, G&A. It's okay.
G&A.
I went in there and it didn't really seem like they knew me. But then when I was walking out, he gave me a little knowing nod, and I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe he does know me, but I don't know.
Go
You
see
guys are the
George?
celebs.
You didn't
a
say
haircut? Did
I'm
you
Mike
get one?
Massaro.
No.
It looks kind of fresh.
Deuce.
You should have like a little one of those boom boxes with you, so whenever you walk in a room, it plays one of the songs here, and then people are like, "Oh, you're that guy."
Who's here for a haircut?
Yeah, they're a popular spot because it's all the Christmas cuts, all the dads and with their sons in there getting their
Right.
spiffy for the holidays.
Gotta
and-
look nice.
If I had time, I'd do it. All right. So where do you want to start with this game? I mean, obviously,
Start at the very
Drake
beginning. That's a
Maye,
very good place to
first
start.
300-yard game,
Yeah.
and got the game
As
ball,
predicted by Fred
Yeah.
Kirsch.
and got the game ball after the game.
As
so,
predicted by
as
Fred Kirsch
predicted,
also.
as
Yeah.
Drake
predicted.
Maye will have a 300-plus-yard game. What about the other part? You cut it out.
Oh,
Did he get the game ball?
I gave you your props.
People were talking over
know
you.
that part of it, but I gave you your props.
Thank you.
he did.
I heard you.
We
He says that every week. I heard you.
Well,
I heard you.
That was just Paul's snark.
I heard you.
But you do say it every week.
No, I don't.
Is that why you got mad at me yesterday when I gave you your props? You kind of walked by me, or you busy?
No, I was busy. Lead.
I go, Freddie, 300-yard, and you nailed it. And he goes, yeah.
I think I was on my way to a meeting, if you know what I mean.
Oh, right.
okay.
You
The
Private
interrupted.
office.
Yeah.
Did you bring the Penske file?
Yeah.
No, it It was a great win. I mean, I admit early on it was frustrating. I was definitely not happy with how it went right out of the gate. Thought they started slow, and that was not a formula I was hoping for. But then that punched out fumble, and to me, I don't know how you guys felt in the stadium, but to me, it felt like right there, it felt like Baltimore all of a sudden started to clam up a little bit, and then of course, Lamar got hurt, but all credit to Drake there at the end. That was awesome. That 4th down pass, I must have watched it 6 times yesterday. Just like what a laser it was, how close it was. I mean, the pass before was like I still having a heart attack about that one, but just it was the effort we've been waiting for. I mean, I said it all summer, and not to say now that he's done it once that's it. He'll always do it, but at least you have some evidence now that game on the line.
Say what you want about not playing Derrick Henry or Lamar being hurt or whatever. The offense still need to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
They still needed to come from behind by 11 points.
Yep.
And they did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
They had to be perfect.
Yeah.
The last 12 minutes and 50 seconds of that game, the Patriots basically had to play perfect, and they did in all 3 phases.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was another one I was interested to talk to Evan about was the RPOs at the end there. I really liked that a lot.
Some GF counter read. Yeah, a couple times.
Everybody chasing Ramondre on that last one. I mean, I think even the TV
they ran
guy
it
did.
the first time, and he handed it off, and so I think they probably thought, it's just kind of for show that he's not actually going to keep it. And so they kind of in that spot, you kind of have to sell out and go after somebody and something.
Kind of the situational thing, though. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of that. I mean, I know down near the goal line a little bit, but that to me felt like a little new twist.
Yeah, the low red zone stuff last week against Buffalo, and then this week they pulled it out at the end to kind of ice the game and play 11 on 11 and make the run game a little bit more dynamic that way in a closeout situation. But I think that my whole feeling on it while watching the game in Baltimore was even when they got down 11 points, you just don't feel like they're out of it now.
Yeah.
And that feeling is just so different than what it's been for 5 years now, really since Brady left. And they have a guy now in Drake Maye that he can play bad for 3 quarters and you feel like he can bring him back. Yeah. And I don't think that's not a small thing, because you're not going to be perfect every week. You're not going to play, great out of the chute every single week. You're going to be behind. You're going to have, moments in the 4th quarter where you're driving and you're down 3 points and you have to make plays. And that ability now for them to be down 2 scores late in the game and just go touchdown, ball game is,
seal it too.
Yeah, it's such a huge difference. And he was there was obviously some plays that weren't so good that he'd probably like to have back, but the high level plays that he made in this game, really for all 4 quarters, even going right back to the opening drive, hits Diggs 25 yards over the middle on just an absolute dart. He was terrific.
And the rainbow to Kyle Williams, right in the bucket.
Oh my God.
Yep.
And by the way, the one to Ramondre that was just a little long, that was almost another one.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a good shot.
What was the feeling in the stadium, though? I'm curious how the contingent of Patriot fans who were very vocal, you could hear that on the broadcast, but just did you feel like the angst from the Ravens fans of this season because they've been terrible at home and they come out, seem like they're all right, they're ready to go, but it felt like things devolved. I don't know if you guys noticed the atmosphere.
It was a cool atmosphere because before the game, they had Steelers-Lions up on the video board, and the whole stadium was watching the end of Steelers-Lions, and obviously the Ravens were cheering hard for the Lions to come back in that game. And then that game kind of ended the way it did, and that was sort of deflating, I think, at first, and so that was sort of took the energy out a little bit for the fans that had been there already. And then Lamar gets hurt in the 2nd quarter, so that takes the energy out even more. Yeah. And so I don't really think that there was a whole lot.
It wasn't like we've been there, or I've been there for games where, Ravens are rolling.
Yeah.
And they're doing the chant and everything, the White Stripes song. And it's pretty intimidating. Mm-hmm. Didn't get that sense at any time in this game.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, and I think Mike's point about the first fumble, the Henry fumble, I haven't really felt all year that the Patriots were, even when they've been on their heels, I haven't felt like they were on the verge of really, really bad stuff. I think they were on the verge of getting boat raced the way the game started. I don't think it was going to stop. And that fumble stemmed the tide for a while, and then Jackson getting hurt obviously stemmed the tide for a while. But Baltimore was able to regain their composure and take control of the game back in the 3rd quarter into the 4th quarter. And now at this point, I go to what Evan said. I didn't feel like the game was over. And I'm prone to giving nods. You guys, I'm not afraid to call a game over.
Or nod off.
Before it's over. Oh, it was close during the post game a couple of times. But the way you don't want to hear this, so maybe you go earmuffs here, Fred. I said to Mike, I go, this is what the Ravens do. Nobody blows more 2-score leads in the fourth quarter than the John Harbaugh Ravens. Mm-hmm. They're a really good team and a really good organization that wins a lot of games, but they blow a lot of 2-score leads in the fourth quarter. In this particular year, it's not even any of those things. They're not a good team. They haven't been good at home. That's the sixth time they've lost at home this year. They find ways to lose those games, and I never thought the Patriots were out of the game. I expected them to go down and score. I didn't know if they would win. I expected them to go down and score and put game pressure on Baltimore, and they did.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't love the fake punt. That to me was kind of the bad moment where that's it. I did, I kind of did my deuce.
As a complete aside,
when they scored right
if they lost the game 24-13, or let's just say 24-21, maybe they score once, but then Baltimore's able to grind out some first downs and run the clock out. Yep. What do you think the reaction would have been to just basically handing them 7 points?
Yeah. And Vrabel took full responsibility today at his press conference, saying that was his call, and admitted it wasn't a great call. It seemed like, I don't know what you thought of. It sounded like you wanted Mapu to just throw it, and
just give Westover a chance.
Yeah, just give Westover a chance.
I don't know. I always go back and forth with things like fake punts and stuff because everybody loves it when it works, right? And it's only.
I wouldn't have loved this one if it went for a touchdown. I wouldn't have loved that call, but just because of the game.
But I hear what you're saying, but like all you can do is call it, and like when it doesn't work, it's like everybody's all up in arms about it. I would wonder, and I didn't get a chance to follow up on it today, but I would wonder if there was an option to check out of it because Baltimore was in punt safe, so they had 2 levels of their unit. They weren't selling out to rush the punter. So normally, like, you wouldn't want to call that into that look. So, like, they could just have easily lined up to call the fake, checked out of it, and none of us would have been.
Yeah.
Well, didn't it look like they did that the previous time they punted?
I don't think so. The previous time that they punted, they were in a different formation, and they were blocking. And my guess is that they were just making some sort of check. That was the other thing that I think threw off the fake was they were in a different kind of formation. And so I'm sure Baltimore was looking at the formation that they were lined up in and was like, something's up here.
And give them credit. Give Baltimore credit. The reason why I didn't like it, and you're right, Ev, everybody it's result-oriented. But you're playing the backup quarterback. You're, in a tight game. It's a tight kind of rock-fighty game at the time. Don't play field position. It's 4th and 10, not 4th and 3.
That's a big part of it.
Just play field position and make Tyler Huntley drive the length of the field. He couldn't do that. I mean, he threw 10 passes for 65 yards. Like Lamar, had over 100 yards. It was like 101 yards. Like,
well, maybe they thought there
was no way Baltimore was going to be able to consistently drive the length of the field with him playing quarterback.
Well, maybe they didn't think that Derrick Henry was going to stay in the sideline and they were just going to chew up clock like crazy. And which they probably would have done if they played him.
No, but he did play in that drive, and they went down and scored. I'm not suggesting that, but like, instead of making him go 50 yards for a touchdown, 44 yards for a touchdown, make him go 84 yards for a touchdown. And if they do it, you tip your cap and say they did it.
You guys are right.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out like what they were thinking.
I think the other angle to it is, well, it's Tyler Huntley, so like putting them on a shorter field, like you might think that the defense is going to hold, right? And that way, maybe it's a field goal that
in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I don't think it. I think they thought that they had a good play for it, and I think they thought it was going to work.
I totally think you don't call that if you don't think it's going to work.
No, I just mean like I don't think that it was anything more than that. I don't know if it was anything with the clock or whatever.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that.
I think it didn't work.
Yeah. I just feel like I might think I have a look in this game, and I'm sure it was specific to Baltimore. Something that they worked on during the week. We got this play. We think it might work based on the way Baltimore might show us something. I get that. I would say let's keep that one in the pocket in this game because of the situation in this game. Not necessarily, it was lower scoring. You didn't need, in other words, being down 4 points at that time to me was not the end of the world. But being down 11 made you desperate. And you put yourself in. Now, to their credit, they fought their way out of it, and they were able to overcome it. I just felt like they created some of the adversity on their own.
Yeah. I obviously, Vrabel fell on the sword for it this morning, but you have to have that ability to recognize they know something's up on the other side. They have 2 levels to their punt return, which, so basically they have like linebackers playing at the second level here that are sitting on potential routes down the field. They probably didn't know exactly what the play design was, but they knew that
Something was up.
Right, there was a fake potentially coming. So you would have liked to have just seen them check out of it, punt it, and keep that one for another day. I think that's the biggest thing to me too. Is like maybe that works in the playoffs. Like maybe you're down 2 touchdowns in a playoff game and you need something, and like now it's on tape. Like now they know that that's your fake. So you get into that whole thing about it too. So I just don't know if that was the spot they needed it.
I like to focus on the positive things. No, I'm only kidding. But I big shout out to Ramondre Stevenson.
I was just going to bring him up.
With Henderson going down, he's now the guy, and he came through.
He did. Vintage kind of performance from him. We had him on the post-game show. I shouted out Paul. I was like, Ramondre, just so you know, we're in here. Every time you made a pass block, Paul's getting here going crazy. He's like, that's right, Paul. Like, he yelled at Paul.
I don't know if I've ever spoken to him like one-on-one. And he's like, Paul, that's it, Paul. You tell him.
Yeah.
They had a great one on Kyle Hamilton.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 times.
Stonewalling guys.
There was one that it looked like he was like inside, and they, like that, when they go up close to the A gap, and then they sort of, teams are starting to adjust to those kinds of adjustments now. And they sent somebody wide, and he still got out there in time to get the guy. I think those plays are invaluable. Yeah. And I think he had a really good all-around game.
Yeah, it was also really interesting. He said on the final touchdown that play was designed to go left. Baltimore had everybody left, and he's like, I already knew I was taking it right. And as soon as he got that corner, everybody knew the second. I think it was like Jared Wilson. Like the second he got around the corner. And great block by Kyle Williams.
Kyle Williams, made sure he screened off that last guy. Yeah.
A couple of the guys went right to
contributions by so many different guys in individual spots.
That's it, Paul. I mean, that's what this team is at its best. It's another one of those offensive games where you go Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, Kyle Williams, Stephon Diggs, Mac Hollins. Like every single one of those guys came through and made contributions. I mean, maybe Pop was the only one who didn't really contribute. I know he got hurt, so he didn't have a chance maybe, but
he didn't get hurt.
I mean, that's what's just so exciting about this offense.
That's the one thing to worry about going forward. I think they had 9 guys leave the game at some point,
and Jared Wilson.
7 of them didn't, and that doesn't count Jared Wilson.
Yeah, Jared Wilson concussion protocol announced.
What Vrabel said
today by Mike Vrabel. So along with Henderson.
How do you get a concussion as an offensive lineman?
And who's the last one?
There's a lot of concussions for offensive
linemen. Who's the last concussion?
Henderson,
Booty, Henderson.
Booty, right.
Yeah, we saw
How could
those
I forget
two.
The Booty one.
The plays that the Booty, the Booty play was the play you got pass interference.
Yeah.
Which I know you guys think that I'm crazy.
Did that one stink?
Just going to leave that one right there, but that one smelled.
Yeah, that was a terrible.
There should be an investigation, and I'm not exaggerating. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking this game. I'm talking all games.
Yeah.
That's the difference between me and you.
The other guy I would like to give a little bit of a shout out to is Jack Gibbons. Not perfect, but I thought just for a guy who's in a really tough spot, having to make some I liked what he brought on a defense where they just needed somebody to make some tackles and make some plays, and he did make some plays. It wasn't, it's a missed tackles too, but at the same time, without Spillane, I just thought his effort really, it's like you feel like the line was right in the middle, and he did just enough to keep you above that line, I thought, defensively. So it's just one guy to me that when I watched it again stood out a little bit.
Good stuff. And, Vrabel called out Gonzalez after the game, saying that he stepped up, kind of something clicked. And
good pass defense
when he really needed it most, he had a good game, playing a little special teams, tackle on Derrick Henry. And we should mention that he and Drake Maye are Pro Bowlers.
Yeah.
Drake Maye, his first time He'll be the.
You surprised Drake
So
got
how do
it?
we tackle that? How do we tackle that
Technically
one?
second time.
Right, and then
but
like
truly first.
Right,
time.
and then like technically Mac Jones made it in 2020, but like not really. Like it's like you're going through the whole
I
thing.
thought
Like,
Drake May's answer about that today was hilarious. He's like, I didn't deserve to be there last year. Like he came out and said like last year was ridiculous. He's like, I think they came to I was the last person they asked, and I finally got somebody that said yes that they would go.
It's another mark in his corner
Well,
for
Yeah.
me.
the thing is, he won't be able to play this year.
Nice.
hopefully.
Super Bowl.
That's what that
Drake also we heard from Milton Williams today, who Vrabel said will begin practicing. Talked to him in the locker room. He said that he was glad he didn't need surgery. That's when he knew that he would be able to come back. We asked him if he thought he'd be able to play this weekend. He said he needs to get out there and see. But he did say he has been running, didn't have surgery, been really hard watching the games on TV. So we'll see if they get him back. It would be a huge boost. And another thing, I saw Spillane in the locker room. No walking boot this time. So
Okay,
I don't
good.
know what that means.
The walking
news.
boot was
Did
right next
anybody
to
see?
him.
Was it? No, I didn't see it.
It
No.
was on the floor right next to him.
Okay.
He just wasn't wearing
Did
it.
anybody see the
right.
team actually depart the locker room, and if he had any last words for
No
Jelani
last
Tavai?
words. Go on without
them.
me. No, none of those. But it was a kind of a sparse locker room. I was kind of taking in who was in there, who wasn't. Maybe guys were. I think they were going into a team meeting, so it wasn't quite the same as guys getting ready at their lockers, and they need to be in the locker room to get their pads on and stuff. So, I think we're all just really curious to see tomorrow what the
Yeah.
injury report looks
I
like.
think in the fourth quarter, there was a time where I think it was that last drive, and I turned to Evan and I said, lead them.
He did do
Good.
that.
I heard you
Good,
guys had
Fred.
some
Good.
interesting neighbors up in the press box down there in Baltimore.
I don't know if we should talk about
Oh,
that.
well, they have a new press box in Baltimore.
And it stinks.
They moved it to the
Out
corner of
loud.
the end zone, and
Oh, I hate that.
you're like, it is tight.
Yeah.
It's tight. Like, you can't get up from your chair once you're in.
And I know, what was us. We had to go to a game and for free, but it was one of the worst press boxes.
So they
I've ever
redid it
been
and made
in.
it worse.
Rivals.
Oh, a lot of teams do that.
Yeah.
Rivals the Miami Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium
That's
for the
one that
worst
was
press
redone
box.
and made worse.
Now the Commanders Washington in their current stadium is also horrible. I could go down a list here, but for me, all I care about is vantage point. Like I don't necessarily care about the press box itself, but like I want to have a nice view of the field.
There's a
and-
lot in corners.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to
Like
Are most
yeah.
of them in corners?
Like here's in a corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least here it's high. The Washington one that Evan's talking about, I don't know if it's still this way.
Yeah.
It's
Low-
horrible.
low corner.
You
Yep.
get no
So
perspective.
you can't see anything.
Yeah.
It is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
The whole stadium's terrible. That's why they're
That's why they're
getting rid of
the
it.
new one.
Do you guys like being in the middle though? I don't know. I always look at like Reese because they're kind of like on the bend in our press box, and they almost have for the end zone view. We're more in the corner.
No, the end zone is not good for perspective. Like, you see a pass go up, and you don't know
Yeah.
really how high it is or low
Yeah.
it is, and it's hard to see.
26 seasons. I'll let you know when I can tell if a pass is going to get tipped or picked or not. I lose the depth every single
yeah.
time.
I only care about height. Like I don't care if it's in the middle or if it's in the
You
corner.
need to see all of the
but
22
it needs to be
players
high. So like
on the
that's
field.
why I disagree with some people that like the 50-yard line, like Nashville, like Tennessee is like 50-yard line
Carolina.
low
Yeah.
because it's too low. So now I'm like,
Yeah.
it's you can't see like all the players, and how the play is developing.
Yeah.
I
You must like the Meadowlands.
love the Meadowlands.
That's a little high. That one.
Love the Meadowlands.
at least it is
I
in
like
the
our
middle.
press box. I think Gillette
I don't.
is perfect. It's up top. It's
New
high.
Orleans is high.
It's perfect for me because I have you guys next to me.
New Orleans was great.
Who is that? Like I can't.
And they have a
it's
candy bar.
It's way out of my.
the best.
way
The
out of
best
my
one's
range.
Allegiant. Vegas.
I never.
50-yard line. High. Up top. I got the bird's eye view. You're right in the middle. Chef's kiss. Perfect.
All right. Press box
There's your
talk.
press box
Good,
tape.
good press box talk by Ev.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm very spoiled. I get to go to all these games.
So things are looking good for the Patriots, except for those injuries that we started
the
to
health
talk about.
is a concern.
Yeah.
And Morgan Moses,
Moses.
obviously battling through something. I'm not sure that they had designs on him going back in that game. If Mumford didn't end up getting banged up, ultimately they both finished the game. Those two guys are going to be worth monitoring. The depth is getting tested.
We don't know if Booty's going to be back in, but the road is clearing for Chisholm to make his playoff run.
They got to get him in and get
I
him,
just
get
can't-
him into the.
You
get him
talk
into the
about, you know,
AFC.
we
I'd
talked
have to play
about Maye and Gonzalez getting their Pro Bowl nominations. What about the snub for Booty? You guys all right with that, Fred?
He's being snarky.
Booty.
Fred?
Being
I
snarky.
thought he was going to say for Chisholm.
what about
and I was
the
like, now you're
what,
being really
what about the
snarky.
snub for Marcus Jones?
Yeah, I mean, Vrabel talked about that too.
So I don't
Yeah, it's a tough
understand.
one.
They had a kick returner, but not a punt returner on this team.
So
I've
it's
been told.
it's a returner. They call it kick returner. But Chimere Dike with the Titans, he returns punts and kickoffs. So he had Marcus Jones's punt production plus production as a kickoff returner. So
you got to pick a returner.
yeah.
I don't have any problem with that if DK had better, but I don't understand why they wouldn't have both positions.
They just have one
Like,
return
they're
man.
two different things. Now, in that case, the same guy does it, but not everybody has it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
just
Marcus Jones should be the punt returner. Come on,
That's just the way it is.
that's just poor to me,
That's
Fred.
just the way it is. What do you
Fred.
want me to say?
Yeah,
Poor to me.
you don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like when my crushes get snubbed.
Okay. What else?
Garrett Bradbury is the good guy of the year for anyone who cares.
Oh,
He's great.
Good guy.
so the
He's great.
media loves
Good
him.
guy. They do.
He's easy to like. He's
Bud
he-
Light.
he's one of
Easy to
those
like,
guys
easy to lead.
that will talk to you one on one and have conversations with you at his locker a lot. He kind of just sits there and holds court often. You're not a big obviously you don't bring the center other than like David Andrews at the end to like podiums and stuff like that very often. But he's
Kinda like, what am I doing up here?
yeah, he kind of always is willing to talk. He gives thoughtful answers, that sort of thing. So he's really cool.
He's held down that center position all
He's
year.
played well.
Yeah.
He's played well. I think he's exceeded certainly my expectations.
Quick example. We have an employee here who unfortunately his son suffered an injury playing high school sports, and Bradbury was full on asking him all about it, getting all the details. You could,
Poor
but it's
guy.
just you could see like
Walked right
he
into
really
that.
cared.
First year player obviously doesn't know.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about the game itself.
I mean, we
that
didn't talk about Diggs. Yeah,
Well, Diggs had a great game.
Diggs is just
Going off.
was going off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he was
Yeah.
he was tremendous.
I like the way he was, snatching the ball and then the yards after catch.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, it's like why doesn't it look that way every week?
because he's
that's
32 years old, coming off
It's
a
just
torn
gotta,
ACL.
it's got to be the wear and tear.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think that he gets up for these primetime games. Baltimore's his hometown,
Yeah.
so it was a homecoming for him as well.
Yep.
Does he get up for
Um,
playoff games too? I hope.
Hopefully, but yeah, he. I mean, this was a clinic, like man, zone, inside, outside. Like just it didn't matter. I mean, he'd beaten Marlon Humphrey like a drum across the field a couple times.
They were beating him a lot.
Yeah, he might be washed.
Kept looking at 44. I'm like, are they going after him?
Yeah, I mean, some of the conversions and just his feel for zone coverage is just unbelievable. The way that he just knows where to settle and where to find those openings. The fourth down play, the game-winning drive was inches from being intercepted or broken up, and he turns it into a 21-yard gain. He was an animal. I mean, he was unbelievable in this game, and I think the positive is like you can see, all right, when he's got it, like he can go back and get it, right? Like he might not be like this every single week at this stage of his career, but when it's the stakes are high and it's a big game and he's feeling it, like he can go out there and be the best player on the field other than maybe the quarterback. So it was this was vintage Stephon Diggs. Like he was putting on a clinic.
Yep, good stuff. And I guess he got a little bit of money. He's got bonuses in his contract for going over 70, 80, and 90 catches.
Okay.
So he got $500,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's on pace for 985 yards on the season right now. So I don't know if he's gonna, how much these last two games are gonna mean in terms of his participation in them. But
Yeah.
he's getting he's
What's
knocking on the
he
door.
at right now? Do you know? Do you have
860, like
860?
860.
And Drake could very likely get over 4,000, assuming that he plays both games fully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 869.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's up
I
to.
bet they get it. I bet he gets it. 1,000 yards. I think it's important to him.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, coming off the
you
ACL,
really
I mean,
should-
come
I
on.
mean, yeah. I mean that's
Yeah.
to me that's
Big might
baseline.
kind of try.
Yeah.
To. Yeah.
Good stuff. I mean, we were thinking of, well, I don't want to give away some content idea until we do it.
Yeah,
but
don't do it. One more thing. Ben Brown signing a contract extension.
Right,
There's a lot going on.
Did you
today.
say that Drake May, should get Like,
4,000.
yeah, I mean, disaster struck if he doesn't get 4,000.
He's got like 3,600.
No, he's at 39.
39.47.
Oh,
I was thinking to myself, I thought he already had 4,000, but
then I was
he-
reading something
yeah.
today that he had like 36 something
before the game.
Yeah, he had 380 in the game.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you saw
Yeah.
heading into the
maybe
game.
it was something old I was reading.
Yeah,
No,
no.
so he'll get over 4,000.
in the first quarter, probably Sunday, he'll get over.
Yeah,
Right.
First
Yeah.
throw.
He is. He now leads the league in total QBR. He's second in EPA per dropback, and just reading some of the people that do have MVP votes, I think a lot of people after the Bills game were like, he's not going to win MVP. He's kind of out of it, so to speak, with Stafford and Allen's push, but not so fast, my friend. I mean, I think he's right there.
Yeah.
I think he's right
So
there.
we should talk about it because I'm a little bit annoyed. First of all, I'm
Shocking.
very annoyed at my bloggers during the game.
Oh.
I don't remember being so disappointed in Patriots fans.
Ooh, that's worse.
I
Than
mean,
being mad.
yeah, things weren't going good, and it wasn't like I'm all for criticism. Like, oh, so and so's having a bad game, or they're doing this, they're playing too much zone. That's fine, but this is what I'm hearing: this team is trash.
Ooh.
I hate this team. We suck again.
Oh no.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
It was just like, then what are you watching for? Leave. It was really disappointing. And then once they started coming back, it was silence. So like, where were you then?
Yeah.
That was disappointing. The other thing that this is more kind of annoying was this whole thing about Drake. He needed this game. So were you telling me that if he came up a little short in this game, that's it? Yeah. He's not the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. We put too much emphasis on what just happened instead of like really looking at it holistically and saying, no, this kid's going to be good. He's not completely baked yet. He's still, need to keep him in the oven a little bit longer, as most people are in the NFL. It takes you time, but like, I have no doubt that he's going to be really good. Yeah. This game is another check, box check, but the comeback was going to come eventually.
Yeah.
So like,
go ask
all
some
these
other
people
teams.
like, okay, now we can put that one away. Well, what if he never has another comeback in his life?
Right.
Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah. To me, it's fun watching him get experience, and good and bad, and that's all going to help him in the long run. And we're in this for the long run. Go ask the other NFL 31 teams. How many of those teams would want Drake Maye right now?
Probably 30 of them.
I mean, right?
But like, people around here, we are so spoiled.
Well, that's
we've seen excellence at its highest level, and our expectation is there, and it's just so unrealistic. Meanwhile, we've got this kid who, he's lights out. He's amazing. He's got all the tools. He makes mistakes and then he corrects them. So you can see that he's coachable. He's everything you want in a quarterback. And until he has that game, we can't trust him.
Right.
It's like, oh God, come on.
Yeah.
The only comparison that I can think of watching him throw the deep ball is like watching Steph Curry shoot threes.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Just like launching a moonshot.
Yeah, like you just
that's not
see
what-
like Steph Curry like hit a 30-footer off the dribble, and you're just like, is that a human being
right,
doing that?
Right. He just threw it to the moon, and somehow it went right where it was supposed to.
And that's it, watching him throw deep. Like
is.
watching him throw the ball down the field is like so
special.
aesthetically pleasing.
Yep.
But it's also so damn good. Like
The Kyle Williams throw
Oh my
was
God.
just
it's
sick.
unbelievable.
And it's not a lot of effort.
No.
It's just like, he's got the arm. He does.
And you're almost like, as the ball is in the air going to Kyle Williams, I didn't put my hands up, but I was already like, touchdown. Like you just it's just gonna be right on his hands. Like it's just uncanny how good he throws the ball down the field. And like the numbers back that up. And he's 4 for 5 in this game, and the only incompletion was the booty play, which should have been pass interference. So it really wasn't a true incompletion. And he just like I said earlier, the amount of high level plus plays, whatever you want to call it, that he made in this game was just every single time I felt like I was writing, well, they had a jailbreak on the left side. He steps up in the pocket, finds Diggs over the middle. Another, blitzer comes in, eludes it, throws the ball down the field. Kyle Williams touchdown, just over and over again, just making just unbelievable play after unbelievable play.
So special. And like, I remember watching it happen, even, going back to last year's training camp, and to see him consistently do it, that's what's amazing to me, because he'd hit them early on. You didn't know him as a player. even his first touchdown to Booty last year against the Texans, where all of a sudden you're just like, my God, like he has uncanny accuracy down. Like this is different. This isn't just a guy who, oh, there's a guy running free down
Right.
and he hit him.
Right.
Like this is a guy who's dropping a pin in a bucket from 50 yards out and putting it right where his guy can get it. I mean, Kyle Williams is like, how do you defend that?
Right.
It's been one of the coolest things this year.
And
to
let's
watch.
not, let's give props to Kyle Williams for the catch. It was over the shoulder, didn't let up, kept his pace. So often you see guys like stutter or stop and,
I'd be
it screws up the
considering cutting him
timing.
if he didn't catch
But
that.
he just,
Throw was perfect.
he was full out,
Yeah.
catching it, on the move. It was just,
And
great
that's-
throw, great catch.
And I know it hasn't been perfect, and we can point out some of the warts in Kyle Williams' game still, but like to have him start to make some plays here at the end of the season, like this is what you need with rookies. Like you show some patience early on. I know early in the season, where's Kyle Williams? Where's Kyle Williams? Very, not doing very much, but just even these little glimpses here right now. And it also, to me, is just proof positive of it doesn't really matter who Drake's throwing to, whether it's Booty getting down the field or Kyle Williams or the guy that you bring next year or whatever it might be. It's Drake Maye putting the ball right where the receiver can get it. And that, to me, is just super exciting. And now we have a little something next year. All right, what's Kyle Williams like in year 2? Can we get him polished up a little bit? And can he become even more of a significant contributor?
It's a really encouraging. Like the whole rookie class has been pretty good across the board, but like you have Henderson with his second half push. You have Kyle Williams starting to make plays. Craig Woodson's played like every snap on defense. I don't know if he's an impact safety, but he's a starter. He's a guy that can play a lot of playing time for you. It wasn't Jared Wilson's best game. Maybe it was because he was concussed the entire time. I wish I had that context before I wrote about it yesterday.
That's funny. That is funny.
It was like he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, probably make an edit maybe on that one. But yeah, obviously, when Campbell comes back, like that's like 4 or 5 guys that they drafted last year. And if you want to, Paul, don't roll your eyes. The kicker, Borgales,
absolutely.
I wouldn't roll my eyes.
yeah.
He's been near perfect.
Yeah.
That's what the kickers do.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we're
He's done
talking
his
about
job.
what Campbell, Henderson, Wilson, Williams, Woodson, the kicker. I mean, that's 4 or 5 contributors at least from one draft class.
Yep.
I find myself like this is a question I think I've talked to some of the reporters about. I'm like, Woodson, it's great. He's playing. Is he good? Like, is he like, are we like, oh, this is usually a rookie comes in and he starts every game at safety for you. And you feel like, wow, we found a gem. And I like him, but I just am finding myself wondering, is this within this scheme? I would think there should be more plays to be made. And he hasn't really made a lot of plays on the ball. He's made some great tackles. He's made some good,
Do you think they knew that when they got rid of Duggar and Phillips?
Yeah. I mean, well, I think they knew they wanted to play 2 high safeties. a lot more.
Peppers. He means
Peppers. I'm sorry, not.
I know what you mean.
I knew who you were talking.
Why am I thinking Phillips?
Adrian Phillips, maybe.
Adrian Phillips.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you think when they got rid of the 2 safeties, veterans, that they knew we got guys that it's not going to be that, it's going to be a softer landing than you think?
Well, Woodson was already taking reps with the first team at that point of the summer anyways. Like, I think they had already made that transition right around Minnesota, right around the joint practices with the Vikings. I feel like they already decided that they
was
were
when
going to roll
Peppers
with
was in the
Hawkins and
slot
Woodson.
a lot, and I was like, what's
Yeah.
going on here?
I
He's
just
covering
think it
slot
was
receivers.
a concerted effort that they had throughout the offseason to move on for as many people as they could.
Yeah, I know, but you don't do that if
I think they
if
did.
you're not going to be able to,
They,
make up for.
they
the
were going to
loss.
replace the guys. They wanted. I don't think that mattered as much to them as moving on and having their guys, their voices being heard.
Yeah.
I think that was really important to Mike, and I think that's the way it's played out. I think Duggar's played well for Pittsburgh.
He's
I
been
don't
pretty
think
solid.
I don't think it really has anything to do with we think Woodson's this or that. I think Woodson's their guy, and they wanted to move on
Well, why not get rid of those guys earlier than Duggar and Peppers?
they
They
couldn't.
both made it into camp.
because they couldn't.
Hmm.
The other guys they could just indiscriminately cut with no penalty. They needed to try to do something with
Yeah.
Duggar's contract, and they
Yeah.
ultimately were able to deal him when they did. And I don't think, and please don't misunderstand this was a bad move. I think the offseason was a home run. They identified the need, and also don't take it the other way either. Like, oh, Paul's now trashing guys like David Andrews. No, I'm not.
Oh.
I think it was important for Mike Vrabel to do it, to sort of forge his own path. I don't want as many, and I don't want those guys around. I don't want the old regime around. And it wasn't because those guys were bad influences, but there was guys that were, Jonathan Jones was a good player for the Patriots. I think he thought it would be better to move on.
Yeah.
Dietrich Wise, David Andrews, Jawan Bentley. I think he thought there was value in moving on from guys that were here before, because he knows he's going to be dealing with a lot of young guys that Evan just talked about, the draft class, that need my voice, not maybe someone else's voice who might say, well, geez, that's weird that Mike's doing it this way. Bill used to do it this way. And again, not because those guys are bad influences, but I think there's a reason why they moved on from as many veterans as they did. And I think he wanted his message to be the only message.
Yeah, I can see that, because we talked about it last year of what point does this is how we did it back when when I was with the Patriots. Like that doesn't resonate anymore. And I totally get the point of, wanting to have his voice be the primary voice. I just say with the safety position, it does seem dramatically different to me from what they used to want to do, which was have a high free safety and have a safety in the box who basically played linebacker. And now they want 2 free safeties who can go down and back and do whatever they want. And I think that example in Minnesota to me was, like, to your point, Paul, looking for something for Peppers. Like, is this guy going to be able to cover in the slot? It's just like, whoa, this is not what this guy does, having to chase,
they wanted
little
to move
receivers
on,
and stuff.
You cannot criticize it. It's worked.
No.
I think that one of the biggest, I'm not talking about the record. That's obvious. And I think you can make an
I'm just talking
argument
about the locker room.
Drake.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm talking about the locker
Yes,
room.
Fred.
Have
I
you,
agree.
have you ever seen a team, and maybe it's all fluff, but that more has been made about the bond that seems to have been, built on this team and the family and all this stuff. Like we've seen, teams that have had good locker rooms before, but this one, it's something else.
I think it's a big part of their success.
Yeah,
it is. It overshadows. I think it makes up for some of the things that they may be lacking.
Yeah.
So in other words, you can make an argument right now that they since Milton Williams got hurt, they really struggled stopping the run. I know they were leaking a little bit before then, but the 4 games that Milton Williams was out, they couldn't stop the run. You think they could use Keon White?
No.
I'm not talking about a difference maker. I don't think that they could use Keon White, because I think he was a problem. And I don't think that they wanted a guy who was going to be wondering about, is that the right message to be sending? Because clearly in his 2 years in New England, he had no problems questioning the message, questioning the coaching. He might be a better player than Corey Durden. He is a better player than Corey Durden.
He's a different kind of player.
But he's not going to help me.
Right.
Corey Durden is, because Corey Durden is on board. And he's my guy. And he is playing for me. Joshua Farmer and, Eric Gregory. Keon White's probably a better player than all of those guys.
Yeah.
But he's not a better player for the Patriots because he's not all on board.
Yeah, what he gains from the intangibles of not having him is
Yeah.
more valuable to him than having him.
Yeah, it's definitely being in the
Keon
locker
White
room.
ain't helping you stop the run.
You're missing the point. He's a better player than the guys that aren't stopping the run right now. He's a better player than those guys.
He's a better player. He has a different skill set. But yeah,
I agree. It's not apples to apples. Just like Kyle Duggar has a different skill set than Craig Woodson. It's not apples to apples. But those guys can still play.
Yeah.
But they're just not great fits.
Yeah.
I think
for them.
I think there's obviously the contract angle, but like going into training camp, Craig Woodson's a rookie. Like, so until you start to see it in practice and see him practicing in competitive settings, to pull the plug on Kyle Duggar and say, we're going to start this 4th round pick without seeing him in any competitive practices or seeing him in joint practices or anything is like that's putting yourself at risk. Once they had saw Craig Woodson play for 3-4 weeks in training camp and saw that he could handle it, then, now you feel a lot more comfortable moving on from Peppers and Duggar. So I think that contributes to it as well.
Yep, it does. It's all part of it.
To Deuce's question about Woodson, like I don't think he's an impact safety. I don't think he's going to be a playmaking safety.
Can he get there? I mean, the bigger question is just like, is this a guy that is there and we're building around him? He's a rookie who's played every snap, or is he a guy that he's there right now, but we're going to continue to throw players? I mean, Hawkins is a free agent, so they already got one decision to make at one of the safety spots. But it's one of those weird things where a rookie comes in, plays every snap on defense, and you still feel kind of like, no, that's nice, but like, is he a playmaker? Is he an above replacement level type player? I'm still not sure.
And he is still just a rookie, so he could emerge.
That's why, like,
it reminds me so much of the Rutgers boys, like Harmon, Logan Ryan, that like are those guys
Good tacklers.
Yeah,
and,
like
you know,
is he?
sound.
Are they great players? Like, are they number one corners or number one safe? No, but like they are serviceable NFL starters that can play a role and play a position, and you're not going to be taking on water because they're out there. You know, Harmon had all those interceptions on arm punts late in games and things like that. No respect to Duran, disrespect, but at the same, like, that kind of player. I think Woodson's maybe a little bit more physical than Duran Harmon was, but they're similar types of players where I think he's just going to be mentally, physically sound. His technique, his assignments, all that kind of stuff. But he's not necessarily going to be a big time playmaker for you.
Couple emails and calls. We'll get to those in a second. Justin writes in, Patriots Nation is the greatest fan base in the league, but it can also be the worst. When things were looking rough in the Ravens game across social media, I was seeing comments such as, we're one and done, 2021 all over again, we're frauds. I was too. It was ridiculous. Calm down. You got so used to the last few years that you lose confidence the second the team falters. Just relax. It's true. I mean, look at NFL, all these other games. Good teams have to overcome things at times. I mean, that's what happens.
I brought it up to Paul recently. Do you think that there's any impact that social media kind of came about while the Patriots were in their dynasty heyday? And so kind of like not Patriot fans on top of the world is like kind of an institution since the start of social media. And it just feels like that's where the collective fan base feels like their rightful place is in the structure of it all. Like, oh, we're back. Like, now we're on social media. Now we can go trash talk everybody again. We can do all those things. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did they stop trash talking?
No, probably not.
Yeah,
Let's go to the phones. 855-PATS-500. Herm's in D.C. What's up, Herm? Herm, D.C.
Playoff?
Hey, Fred, listen, don't. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't let some fool on the internet, get you all riled up. They just, that's what they're trying to do, right? To get you all riled up and get you, trick out your position. But we back and we ain't going anywhere. So just take.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for the criticism. And at one point there was like a legitimate, I think it was a play call. And I let people go, and people had both sides, and I brought those comments in. But I'm not going to post you if you're just like, we're frauds. Go away.
Yeah.
Go away.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Two quick comments and a question. So first comment, obviously I was at the game, and obviously I'm watching Diggs, and I just couldn't help to think about it could have been maybe, Brendan Ayuk or, Calvin Ridley or somebody else in that 8 jersey. And I don't know, I was a little sick in my stomach thinking about that because I think Diggs is almost like a godsend for Drake May specifically, right? Obviously, he killed the Ravens in the homecoming game. But besides that, when I was looking down towards the bench, and I think we were down, 11 in fourth quarter, all I can see is Diggs signaling to his teammates, like, listen, chin up, we'll be fine, right? Chin up, we'll be fine. And when I saw that, that kind of like helped me relax. And I knew that, okay, we at least going to come back and go to overtime. But I guess more point for that was, Diggs is just a godsend for Drake May. And then the game-winning drive for Drake May, it was just, it was like he was performing surgery, right? It was just bing, bang, boom, 9 plays. So for a young guy to be able to do that in that spot is it's not only impressive, but obviously super encouraging going to the playoffs. But my question is, so Matthew Stafford, right, his numbers, yes, currently he leads the MVP race, but wouldn't his numbers more so qualify for him being maybe like offensive player of the year? Because
could be both, but yes.
I could be biased. Well, I could be biased, but obviously I think Drake May should be leading the MVP race for the simple fact that,
he's done more with less.
Team. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They won 12 games on a team that won 8 games in 2 years. So, if he doesn't win it this year, then I don't know, I'll just be a little disappointed in the voters because I feel like they're looking at the wrong thing. Especially considering Josh Allen won it last year, which I would have voted for him if I
Well, Lamar had better numbers, but they
less.
figured Josh did more with less, and the same reasoning should come into play this year.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Herm.
I think the MVP is going to be really interesting because the voting list is interesting, but the voting list is a lot of people that are on my side of the aisle in terms of how they approach the job. It's a lot of the Mina Kimeses and those types of people that are into the analytics and into film watching and things like that. And right now, Matthew Stafford has the traditional stats. He has more touchdown passes. He has fewer interceptions. He has more passing yards. Drake has him in completion percentage, but Stafford has a higher passer rating than Drake May.
So if you watch the game, May plays. If you just watch, the stats.
But May,
Stafford
No, if you watch the game, Evan's right. No, but I mean, watching the game, it's going to be very similar to me as last year. If you watch the game, Lamar Jackson was the MVP last year.
Right.
But you gave Josh Allen more credit because he was doing with less. They don't have Puka Nacua. They don't even have Devontae Adams. They certainly don't have a two-man backfield with
the
Kyron
best run
Williams
game in the
and Blake
NFL.
Corum with the best running game.
and Sean McVay calling the plays.
An incredible offensive system.
Right.
But that's what it's going to come down to. And,
Drake
QBR takes into consideration all the running that Drake May has done.
That's what I was going to Drake May hasn't beaten all the advanced analytics. So I'm interested to see
Who wins out?
Is it going to be I was going to be mean. Is it going to be the people that prioritize things like passing touchdowns and yards and that sort of stuff? Or is it going to be the QBR, the EPA per drop back, and that sort of crowd of it? Because those things, EPA and QBR take into account that Drake May is going to run for over 400 yards. Matthew Stafford doesn't run. So these are all elements of it that I think, are in Drake May's favor. So if you want to make the case for Drake May, you have to kind of do it with the analytics. And if you want to make the case for Matthew Stafford, you say, well, he's, got, what is it? I think it's like 35 touchdown passes now or something like that. And
I think he's in the 40s.
Or 40. Yeah, I think it's 40. I think it's like 40-5, his touchdown to interception
It'd be great
ratio.
if they did it by who was most valuable for the team.
And I think you can make an argument either way on that because there ain't no way that Rams offense is looking like that with somebody else playing.
No?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that when Garoppolo plays.
Yeah, 40 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
But I think that there's a very good argument can be made for Drake May in this. Evan just made it a lot with numbers. I would just make it with the sheer talent that he's dealing with. I don't think it's fair to say that it's a team with 8 wins the previous 2 years. That team's gone. Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf deserve all the credit for completely overturning the roster. It's like a 50% turnover.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be an interesting race. To me, it's been a 2-man race all along. I think the world of Josh Allen. I don't think that he's in this race. I don't think it's even close. These two guys have separated themselves. I think you could go either way. I don't think it's the wrong choice if they go with Stafford. He's been that good. But I could absolutely make a case for Drake May.
Nate in Connecticut. What's up, Nate?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had a couple of thoughts on these next final 2 games.
Speak into the phone.
We can. I think we should at least bench some of our starters. I feel like we should have them healthy for the playoffs, considering all the injuries that we have, and considering that during the game on Sunday night, I saw Drake May come off the field with a bit of a limp. Thankfully, it wasn't anything too serious. But I just want to keep in mind that we don't want any more injuries than we already have because they're piling up a lot. And I really think that with a full healthy team that we have a good potential to make it really far into the playoffs.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying. Patriots are, playoff guaranteed. They still want to get the AFC East, but what's more important? Getting that, home playoff game at some point, or, the Patriots are road warriors this year. Is that more important than being healthy?
Yeah.
No.
I think you could make the case that they could probably beat the Jets and the Dolphins down a few guys. And if you want to take that route, then you could definitely make that case. If I think it becomes more interesting if they clinch it this week. If the Eagles beat the Bills and then Week 18 is
Yeah.
pretty much meaningless against Quinn Ewers and the Dolphins.
What if Broncos lose this week?
Well, they're playing the Chiefs and they're not going to lose.
Okay,
But even
you're right.
But even
maybe
that
week
last
18,
game is big.
Right.
Yeah, but do you? And I'm not talking about you can't bench everybody, right? That's another common Like you can't. Some people have to play.
You got a bunch of injuries
But-
too. Like you might not have much of a choice.
But like if
know?
you take out, if you rest Spillane for the rest of the regular season, if you rest some of the guys that got banged up, on Sunday night for the rest of the season, can you beat Brady Cook and Quinn Ewers with like 7 inactives that are all injured?
All relevant players. Yes, I agree.
Probably.
I agree with you 1,000%. I always answer this question the same way. It's a case by case basis. You tell me what the player is. I'll tell you if I think that there's a chance that you should do it. Will Campbell coming off IR. He can come off IR for the Miami game. I probably wouldn't do it. I'd probably wait.
I'd play him.
Just to make sure he's healthy for the playoffs. Milton Williams this week. If this is iffy at all, and I'm operating under it's a fit. You can play. Like Morgan Moses clearly wasn't 100%. I think if they had their druthers, he would have sat the rest of that game. But he had to be out there. I don't want to play Will Campbell and Milton Williams under those circumstances. Robert Spillane. But if a guy is healthy enough to play, then I want to play them.
On this particular team,
it's case by case.
We talked about locker room earlier, and this particular team, if you're Mike Vrabel and you're reading the room, and Robert Spillane wants to play, and Milton Williams wants to play, do you have to kind of play him? That's the way everybody wants to contribute. Stephon Diggs is sneaking out the back of the blue tent because he wants to get back in the game.
I need the medicals. I need the medicals.
The only reason why I might err on the side of playing Campbell is because I don't want Daniel Hunter and Will Anderson coming off the left side and he hasn't taken a rep in 5 weeks. Like that's I think, there's a rust factor there that I'd be concerned about. So if he's 100% healthy to play against the Dolphins in Week 18,
that's a different argument. If he's 100% healthy, I want him to play.
If he's as close to 100% healthy as he's going to be.
But
right?
I'm talking about
100%.
it's iffy, and you want to get him back just to get him some work. I would sit him.
Yeah.
But if it's 80, 90%, then sure. Play.
I would just worry about him going into the playoffs cold. Like he hasn't taken a live in-game rep in a month.
That's definitely a fair point.
Yeah. Riley's in Phoenix. Riley.
Hey, how we doing, fellas?
Okay.
Hey, so 2 quick things here. One, I hope that this win has silenced some of the critics a little bit with Maye not being able to come back in the fourth quarter against one of the best defenses as of late in the season. Not that was a huge concern for me, but I know that it was for a lot of people unsure. He was capable of that, and I think he clearly went out and showed that he is and the kind of player that he's going to be for the future. And then the second thing here is just going to beat the dead horse a little bit with that non-PI call. This is just getting absolutely out of hand. The last couple seasons, the officiating has been absolutely atrocious, and it's honestly unfortunate for us fans because it ruins the viewing experience and a lot of these games.
I hear you.
It's awful. You want to call the BS PI on Booty for barely slapping the guy's hands down, but then you're not going to call the blatantly obvious PI that a blind person could see. I mean, come on, what are we doing?
Yep.
But anyways, I'll take it off the air. Happy holidays, guys.
Thanks, Riley. No, I hear what you're saying. That was ridiculous. That was he turned him, he tugged him, and then he tackled his legs.
Oh no, he tackled his legs. That's the interference. Yeah. Everything else I was fine with. Down the field, I was fine with. He literally tackled the player. How does someone not see that?
I don't know. But you know what? I can see Bob's Furniture.
Light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah. You want to ready your rec room for the playoffs? Embrace the new year with styles thanks to Bob's Discount Furniture. Outfit your home for marathon game day watch parties with the latest feature pack styles from Bob's, like stylish sleeper sectionals with immersive Bluetooth audio made for catching every play, relaxing reclining sofas with LED lighting, and plenty of charging ports for your phone and fabulous fireplaces with mood lighting and speakers for halftime happy hour ambience. All at Bob's, winning everyday low prices, of course. So stop in our shop online to style your home team headquarters with Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. All right, we'll be right back after this. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/OneRate for details. Exclusions apply.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
You gonna do a wellness check on Reese?
He's smiling something.
Really? Is he okay?
He's always smiling.
Yeah.
He's here.
He's
here.
I think he's scared. He had 21 crab legs with Zoe on Saturday.
Well, then he won't be here for a little while. Okay, how you doing?
Mike, how are you?
I'm great.
Milton Williams being eligible to come off IR, have any decisions been made in that regard?
Well, I think he'll practice. I think we'll start his window, see how he responds through the week of practice, and go from there. I know he worked extremely hard, off with the strength and conditioning staff, with the training staff, and involved in meetings. So that's really hard to do, is to be engaged in meetings when you know you're not going to play and have some time. And so appreciate what he's done here and his leadership and his willingness to try to get back.
Speaking of wellness check, just how is the team holding up after 7 players injuries?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I think that we'll figure out where things are later in the week. I think everybody's been getting treatment. We got back, late. So today will be a good opportunity just to, see a little bit of, activity, walk through, albeit, but get guys up, moving around, a couple guys in the protocol. And again, I would say that those are the guys that you're most conscious of from just a, mental well-being and not getting frustrated by how they feel. Tell everybody to do the same thing. Just be honest with how you're feeling. Talk to the doctors, talk to the trainer. That we do an evaluation every day. We do a symptom score. So I think those are the ones that you want to just try to focus on. The guys that have an ankle or whatever it might be, that knee, that, they're going to be okay. It's sometimes any of these things that relates to concussions can, react differently, and there's no predescribed amount of time that they're going to be out.
Is that Travion and Keyshawn there?
Well, Travion's in it, and Booty's in it, and Jared Wilson is in protocol.
How about this time of year, Mike, with success you guys have had as a team? How badly do you guys want to get in the lineup?
continue doing what they're doing. Look, Morgan on the sideline the other day was doing everything he could possibly get back in there.
I mean, it's all of these guys have ever known. Since the time that they started playing football, they wanted to be out there, and they go to college and they want to be out there, and then they go to the NFL and they want to be out there. You only get one opportunity a week. It means a lot to them. Love for guys to find ways in as opposed to looking for ways out. But then sometimes that's not always the case. They can't go in there. So we appreciate everyone that makes an effort to finish the game or get to the game and whatever that may be in whatever capacity that they can help us. So I think that's just it's all they know.
Like, you have played a significant volume of snaps with your base personnel like the last 2 weeks. How does that challenge your defense? Like, how do you see guys are regular?
Played base defense. Yeah, I just think that's predicated on some of the things that they're doing offensively and the personnel groupings that they are in, and we'll have to, continue to do that versus the Jets and stop the run and try to find ways to get off the field on third down.
Like, they just announced the Pro Bowl rosters. You guys are 12-3 and only have 2 Pro Bowlers. Just curious your reaction. Does that irk you at all, or anything like that?
Nope, it does not at all.
What does that say about maybe the season you guys are having?
It says that we're 12-3 and that we have 2 guys that the coaches and the fans and the players thought worthy enough to make the first ballot. We've got some alternates. I wouldn't imagine that would be, I'm sure guys are disappointed. There's 5 punt returners that had 2 touchdowns. I mean, I don't know how many years that's happened, but is that am I right there? But, I think Marcus has had a hell of a year, and I think he's a Pro Bowler. I'm glad he's our returner and glad he's helped us out. But sometimes that just doesn't happen. And we're focused on wins. We said that last week. The players, they make fun of me, but we're chasing wins and not plays. And if we make enough plays that are winning, that'll be enough. That'll be all we need. And so, don't really have much else to add on the Pro Bowl.
All right, now that you guys have clinched a playoff berth, what's your message for this week and your message for the next 2 games?
Well, just unfinished business. I can't focus on the next two weeks. We got to focus on this week and going on the road to a great environment. I'm going to New York City, playing the Jets, and unfinished business. We want to be undefeated on the road. I think that's something that's unique. I'm sure you guys will tell me how many times it's happened before, but there you go. So that's something that I think is special. Still want to play for the division. We want to win the division. Haven't done it in a long time. And whoever we put out there and whoever we play with is going to have that in mind and then be prepared to do that. Against a team that's playing some young guys. They've got some good veterans. They're playing well on third down defensively. I think they have a really, really good offensive line. I think they move people. I like the way they play. I like their play demeanor. 2 really good, young, talented tackles. Guards try to finish you. So again, they got speed. Breece Hall, he can make you miss. Mitchell's getting more comfortable in the offense and all that. So, there's some unfinished business. The season isn't over. This wasn't our goal, and I'm excited that we won, but we've moved on.
What's allowed? What have you observed that's allowed Matt Holmes to flourish as a receiver, as a pass catcher? We know about dirty work as a blocker, as a pass catcher himself.
And he works hard. I think he's got a good catch radius. I think he's improved. I think that, to his credit, I think Todd's done a nice job with his skill set and, trying to play big and play through contact. And I think he's fearless. I think some of his best catches are, some of those in cuts where, he's extending his body and he's trusting, that Drake's looked out in front of him and puts it up there where nobody else can get it. And, that can't be an easy, task to go in there and, go up 9 or 10 feet and catch an in cut and hope that you're not going to get nailed on the other side of it.
Mike, from completely disinterested up to highly interested, what's your level when it comes to watching the results around the league and now that you're in the playoffs trying to figure out where you're seeding and whatever else would be?
I would say somewhat slightly disinterested.
I would have thought of Ben Brown.
I just think Ben exemplifies everything that we want in building this program, and cares deeply about the team, plays multiple positions, is a great teammate. He plays with effort and finish, and tries to work and improve, and has found a role for himself here, and excited to have him.
In like what ways has Elijah Ponder developed and validated your faith from on the roster out of camp?
Just comfort. It's got all the talent in the world. I think just understanding this league, understanding the urgency of it, and how quickly things happen, and special teams, and transition into third down, and helping us, or being a role player on first and second down, and trying for me not to take those things for granted, that a young player that played at a smaller school in California could come across the country. And so I think that's just credit to him, and credit to Jeremy and Smitty, for continuing to help him improve, and then ultimately himself, going out there and getting comfortable. We've dropped him in some coverage sometimes. We've rushed him. He plays on special teams. So there's a lot of things that he's done for us.
Mike, I'm curious, the fake punt return, when you watch that back, can you just explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, not the fake punt return. I wish we were returning it there. Something that we had practiced, something that I felt confident in. I wouldn't have called it if we didn't feel confident in it. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So it was a bad call by me. And, just told Tay to throw it, give it a chance, give Jack a chance. If the guy dropped out of there, he dropped out of there, but try to give it a chance. It certainly wasn't designed to run, and he just, felt like it wasn't there, and he made a decision. So I made a decision to try the play. I'll make other calls, and there'll be good ones, and there'll be, bad ones as well. So just felt like we needed something there, and it didn't go our way. To credit to the guys. We kept playing and found a way to win the game. So,
Mike, when you're preparing like a week for the opponent's starting quarterback, and then during the game, like the backup has taken over, right? How do you quickly like recalibrate your defense?
Well, most of the time it's the same scheme, and they're replacing, Lamar Jackson with Huntley. So really some of those things didn't really change, didn't have to change. They were kind of staying and doing things that they had normally done. So if it was a drastic change, there would be things that we would have to do on the fly. But, most of our attention on the fly was about getting other guys in other positions, and getting Anthony Jennings there, getting, Kyle Williams and Mac to play 3 different positions. I appreciate them. I'm going to tell them that here in a few minutes at the team meeting. And that's not easy to do. I mean, when you have a receiver that plays 3 different positions, and you hear the formations and you hear the personnel groups, that's a tall order. And so credit to Kyle for being a young player, credit to Mac for doing that throughout the game, when guys went down. No different than Thayer going in there, no different than Anthony, and I appreciate that. And Ben Brown goes in at the jumbo tight end when Thayer goes to tackle. And things happen so quickly that Kyle didn't even realize that Thayer was no longer the tight end. He thought he had become the tackle. So Kyle backs up off the ball, and he's like, when did this happen? And we're like, the last play. And it's like, this is not your fault, Kyle. This is my fault for somehow understanding that Ben now went in and reported, and Thayer was not reporting that he was the tackle. So that's how quickly the things happen. And, give all the credit to the players and the assistant coaches for having them ready and being able to help us win. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
And now, great moments in history.
Andrew used to go to the same gym as Andy Hart, right on Route 1 over here. And
Oh,
we'd
do
see
tell.
him. So we'd see him every morning before work. So he said one day at the gym, there was this guy, and there was one of those big boxing bags, and the guy was like hitting it really hard and grunting and whatever, and like making a big scene. And Andrew was like, it's 6:30 in the morning. Like, what is this guy doing? So he was about to go to Andy and be like, check out this guy. And then all of a sudden, Andy, as soon as the guy was done, Andy went over and he started doing the same thing to the bag. And Andrew was like, I was literally like seconds away from being like, hey, check out this guy.
So that's part of Andy's routine that he never really told us about, the
Right.
heavy bag. We
Right.
didn't know that was something he uses, the heavy bag.
And Andrew was about to make fun of the other guy.
So he must have to stand really close with those short arms.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here at Patriots Unfiltered. Paul has left us.
Thank God.
He's cheating on us.
He big boyed us.
He's going over
Literally
to one of
and
his shows to do 3 hours over there.
It's on the flagship
2 hours
of his shows. This is the ultimate.
Oh, he's doing the whole thing.
I think, yeah.
Wow.
2 to 6 with the
This is
the
like the
squeaky
final bosses of his shows.
That is something. Well, he's gone, but we're still here. And Spee in Fresno's here, 855-PATS-500. He said, Paul got real riled up late in the postgame show. I share Paul's
tired.
disagreement with those who think it's all gravy from here no matter how the season plays out. That's total meow thinking and takes the opportunity at hand for granted. If your team makes the playoffs, you should expect them to play like a playoff team, but we shouldn't reset expectations and move goalposts to a degree that overshadows reality. There is no way any reasonable person will be looking back on this Patriots season as unsuccessful. It may have a disappointing ending, but enough foundational expectations have already been met or exceeded for this season to register as a success. The gravy train riders are taking this playoff opportunity for granted, but the goalpost movers are taking for granted what's already happened to make the opportunity possible.
That was waxing poetic there.
Yeah, very good speed.
I think the only thing that could change my mind is if Buffalo 2021 happens again and they get destroyed in the first, their first playoff game. But besides that, that did the way that season ended, they're going down the stretch, 1-3, I think it was, and then getting beat by like 40 by Buffalo. That did change your perception of that team. And that should have been the same argument, right?
Yeah.
Like you drafted a quarterback in the first round, you made the playoffs, you won 10 games. It's the same sort of thing, but you knew that team was potentially, that might've been the team, was really the team that played in Buffalo that night and not what we saw cleaning up against a Titans team that had 30 guys out with COVID and, stuff like that.
It's kind of why this Ravens game meant so much to me, because that was, losing to Buffalo, and then it seemed like, all right, well, if you beat Miami and the Jets, nobody's really going to care, but like to win in that fashion, and no, I think Evan's totally right. You don't want to go out like that. The big difference too is those Drake Maye's in the MVP conversation too. So I think even at the height of the 21 season, which was, comparison I was going to make to the locker rooms, because this is a great locker room. But even the 2019 team with Brady here, like everybody seemed miserable and stressed, and it was like tension. This seems loose, but when the 21 team was on their win streak, I think it was pretty good too. It's hard to take out why is everybody happy because they're winning or because they all really like each other, and it's hard to really
tough.
know.
Yep. Travis in West Virginia says, Fred, I think you should cancel tomorrow's show and give everyone the afternoon off. Everyone can submit their picks electronically. Well, we do Christmas Eve. We get Christmas.
What about
off.
New Year's Day? Asking for a friend.
Oh,
We'll see.
Okay.
Also, let Evan know that Baltimore is not Diggs' hometown. The part of Maryland he's from is associated more with Washington, D.C., and not so much Baltimore.
Okay, well, he told us after the game that this was a homecoming for him, so I'm going to...
Like, we're not playing the
You go by
Commanders.
what he said.
Yeah, that's the man himself.
Okay.
Yeah, he's from, like, some small town outside of... in Maryland somewhere. He went to the University of Maryland, so...
Yeah. Let's go back to the phones. Manny's in New Bedford. Hey, Manny.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Two things. One, I still don't understand how Marcus Jones didn't make the Pro Bowl, but again, that's another story. But this question is mainly for Evan, because I know he really just breaks down the game at like an elite level.
Thanks,
so
sir.
I'm starting to really get concerned about this Gonzo situation. I feel like they're playing him a lot in the zone coverage, and he's playing like off man. I'm just curious, like, why is that? He's been struggling there. Every play, he looks like he's getting burnt. Zay Flowers completely cooked him, like, majority of the game. And this is like, I would say it's like a second, third game. Do you feel like he's getting frustrated the way they're playing him? Do you think that's going to be a conversation when they go extend him? Maybe he goes elsewhere to a better system where they play him in man more. curious to what you think about that, Evan. I'll take this off the air. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something that I've written about a couple times now, a couple weeks in a row. It's just, what it looks like, and I know he's just named to the Pro Bowl today, and we're talking about how he's not, playing as well, but you know what it looks like when he's playing well, because last year he was just excellent for the entire year. He's, all-pro player. I don't know if it's scheme related. I don't know if it's the hamstring. I've made this comparison before, but as a hockey guy, like, reminds me so much of Jeremy Swayman last year, who sat out all of training camp and then came back for the season, and he just couldn't get the train rolling. He just had a horrible year. And, I think that's could be possible as well. Like, he did no training camp, went right into it, sat at the beginning of the season, and it just was one of those years where it just wasn't, able to get up to standard completely in this game. And look, I'm not one of those people that thinks the corners need to be linebackers, but in this game, the Ravens ran at him all night, and they made him tackle. They made him take on blocks, and he didn't do it very well, just being honest. Like, the Derrick Henry explosive runs were mostly off tackle to Gonzo's side. The first touchdown, he's the last line of defense. He's the only guy that can make a play, gets steamrolled by the guard and doesn't make a play. Again, I'm not expecting him to be, Dante Hightower in the hole and take on a guard, but at that point, you got to hold him up. You got to do something to try to get, hats to the football. It might just be a scheme thing. Like, maybe they're just the way that they use corners in this system is not a great fit for him. I don't know, but it's hard for me to imagine that a player of his caliber, that you can't find a way to make him play well. Like, that tells, usually that's like players over scheme, and like you have a guy that's that good, like, figure it out, right?
Well, maybe you need to be down by 11 in the fourth, and then he switches it on. But
Yeah.
he certainly he turned it on last game. Let's see if we can continue that.
I just think
Did
Zay
he?
Flowers is a tough matchup too for him. Like, I get what he's saying, and some of that.
And the 18-yarder, like, it was a broken play and it was a scramble
and he,
drill.
like, scoop back in.
Yeah, like that one I don't really hold against him too much, because you're covering for 5-6 seconds. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. But the third down one in the slot, like, he just sits inside of him, and Flowers just cuts out, and it's a first down. And those are plays that you're used to Gonzo being a lot more competitive in.
George writes in, I don't know if you guys pay attention to Bleacher Report Gridiron. I'm sure Evan does.
Nope.
They have a reel of a Patriots fan waving goodbye from the game. Well, I'm that Patriots fan. So now you can put a face to the name of this diehard Pats fan when I email in. I love the show. Been around since your paper copy.
Did you send a picture of his face, or?
No.
Oh.
You have to go to Bleacher Report Gridiron, I guess, to see the Patriots fan waving goodbye.
Good stuff.
Let's see. More sympathy for Marcus Jones getting snubbed.
We explained that in the
Yeah,
first
we
hour,
kind of
right?
explained it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Anthony cannot believe this was our first comeback of double digits since the Falcons Super Bowl. Is that true?
It is.
Wow. That means at any point in the last 9 years, if we went down by double digits, we didn't win. Seems incomprehensible.
It seems pretty comprehensible to me, having watched those offenses. But that's the feeling you had. And I mean, it was ingrained into you by the time you got to this season. Like, it's probably why when they went down by 11 in the second half in this game, that I was kind of like, well, that's it. You forget about the fact that Drake Maye can make 7 throws and you're in the end zone, and just like that, in 4 minutes drive. So that's been the X factor. But yeah, man, they've been bad. I mean, you felt like unless they got real help from the other team the last few years, it wasn't going to go their way.
Anthony wants to know, can we clinch the division this week with a win, or does Buffalo have to lose? No, Buffalo has to lose.
Yep.
And they play at 4:25 against the Eagles, so we won't know if we have the division until after that game, if we win.
Yeah.
Sets up for a pretty fun trip home, though, potentially. With some scoreboard watching going on. It's a short flight, so and I do wonder, if there'll be any celebratory things going on if we find out that somebody shouts, "Hey, they lost. You know, I mean,
Jordan writes in, let's all remember that the number 1 seed is still in play. According to the Athletic playoff predictor, the Patriots have a 38% chance and the Broncos are at 46%. So I think it's full steam ahead. That 1 seed is critical in my mind, and the Broncos could easily lose Week 18 to the Chargers, who would have been playing well in our division opponent. I'm curious if you guys see it differently given how good the Patriots have been on the road this year and if being road warriors is actually more of an advantage.
No, I want that bye more than anything. I mean, the division title has to come with it, but
I think just for health.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's why I think there's an argument to be made that we talked earlier about sitting guys that last week that you might enter that game not knowing, and if you went in and sat a bunch of guys and then Denver lost and you somehow lost with some backups, Josh Dobbs maybe throwing, you'd be sick to your stomach because you could have gotten yourself a week off. So it's such a tough thing to balance because on one hand you're like, well, I might have to push my guys a little bit this week to get them an extra week's rest, or do you just say, I'm going to give you an extra week's rest, but you're probably going to have to jump right in next week? I don't know. Interesting.
As long as you put Drake May under center against Miami and the Jets, you're going to win. So if you if Robert Spillane has to sit out again, or if I don't know, whatever, Will Campbell's not quite ready, and whatever, these Travion Henderson's still in the protocol, you can sit all those guys. That's the one real benefit I think the Patriots have with this end of the schedule here, being against two teams that the Jets, especially the Dolphins, I think might just be organizationally in a turmoil, but the Jets I think might be tanking. I think they are actively trying to lose. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think the Patriots will take care of their own business, but they're going to need some help.
Again, I forgot about Drake. That's, I think.
This is I know everybody's going to have flashbacks to 2015 and Steven Jackson and that Miami game and all that, but this is not that.
Curtis in St. Louis, first off, to the mouth breather in LA, do us all a favor, shut up. No one cares about your self-proclaimed wealth. Your takes are trash, and I'd be willing to bet my last dollar my unborn nephew has more football knowledge than you. How about you go smell your farts in your backyard? I hear the Chargers can use some more fans. Wow, that's pretty harsh, listener on listener crime. 2 quick questions. Out of the free agents signed this year, whose contributions have been most impressive in your opinion? I have to go with Mac Hollins. Well, I don't know.
Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
Most impressive free agent in your eyes?
Contributions most impressive.
I mean, Milton Williams.
That's where I was going. That's where I was
going.
But
he's been hurt, I suppose.
I mean, Hollins does a lot of the little things.
He does.
Josh McDaniels called him a chess piece.
Yeah.
So I can understand what Curtis is saying. There might be a lot of things unnoticed that he's doing to contribute that don't really register.
Yeah, blocking, running wind sprints.
But I also just think that he's got a really good play strength, catch radius, and
seen a lot of that.
It's nice. I'm sure it's really comforting for a quarterback like Drake May. You don't necessarily need to be pinpoint accurate when you throw the ball to Mac Hollins because he's 6'5" and he's got a huge catch radius. So every time I look at Drake May throw to Mac Hollins, there's just an ease and confidence to it because he knows that he's going to go up and get it over the middle, or he's going to catch a pass on the sideline, or whatever the case may be. And they're just they just take those outs, those quick game outs. He's just 5 yards, 7 yards at a time.
What about Chason?
He's been good too.
Yeah, he's been good.
He's been good. He makes some big plays.
He does.
He doesn't make a lot of them, but he shows up.
I mean, they hit on pretty much everybody that they signed. I mean, it's pretty impressive. And now I think you mentioned Ben Brown too. They're staying ahead of the curve. Marcus Jones in season extension. Ben Brown adding some important depth there. So Bradbury was just one another.
You don't really think of centers, but we haven't had to worry about the position.
Yeah.
And he was somebody that a lot of people were really low on because of all the PFF grades and all that stuff from last year. And he's been really, really good. And I think maybe, something I was thinking about too. I mean, they played this game with a lot of backups. 9 guys got hurt in the game. Campbell's and Milton Williams are still out. Spillane is still out. We might have underestimated the depth on this roster. I don't know if the depth on this team is quite as bad as we all thought it was in August because, Vidarian Lowe, it wasn't a great game for him, but they still won with him playing at left tackle. Guys are going in and out of the game. They're getting contributions from Thayer Munford and Corey Durden and Jack Gibbons and all these guys that everyone said in August were going to be liabilities if they had to play, and they're still winning football games without these with these players out there.
In Vrabel's post-game speech in the locker room, it's kind of a stream of consciousness thing, but one of the things that he slipped in there is guys are stepping in and finding out what they can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's who he's talking about.
Yeah.
Those guys, those depth pieces that we didn't think were that great, they are coming in and they're finding out, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like, I can play in this league.
Yeah.
And of course, the coaches are finding that out too about these guys.
Yeah.
And the coaches deserve a ton of credit for it as well. Not only development behind the scenes, but let's give some love to the assistant coaches that are keeping Vidarian Lowe, fresh and working him and keeping him involved. And then he has to step in for Campbell, and it's not been always great, but it hasn't been a disaster by any means either. With him out there, they've done a great job. All these guys are prepared. They all come in with awareness of the plan and the opponent and what they're going up against, and that's coaching.
Second question, with all the talk of who you would or wouldn't want to play in the playoffs, which NFC team would be fun to see if and when the Patriots make the Super Bowl?
Fun? What do you mean by fun?
I think I said it before, the Bears.
Yeah,
Patriots.
Bears, the throwback game.
Yep.
It'd be fun. Couple
40
first-year
years
coaches.
from
40 years.
40 years from 1985.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's intriguing matchups across the board. I mean, they played 2 Super Bowls already against the Rams. They played 1 against the Seahawks. There's I mean, it feels like
Philly,
San Francisco playing at home at their own stadium in the Super Bowl. That might like to avoid that one. But there's a lot of intrigue. When you stack up the AFC, especially after last weekend, it's just, why not us? Why not the Patriots? They got it. They're going to have to get hot a little bit, and they're going to have to get some guys back. But nobody in the AFC do I look at and be like, well, any of those teams can be beat if Drake really plays well enough.
They just got to get this defense in order.
Yeah,
if we're going to start talking about that, I mean, I think the offense is, good enough to go on a run, but defensively, last week it was the inside runs. This week it was the outside runs. Like, doesn't seem to really matter. Wherever a team's kind of strength is running the football, they can kind of run it there if they want to. I thought the pass defense had its moments, but it also had some not so good moments. But run game wise, Derrick Henry just killed them off tackle.
Yeah.
Like, the numbers were not good, and they tried to play more base defense against Baltimore, and they were giving up 5.5 yards a carry in base defense, which is the opposite of what you're trying to do when you play that many big people on the field. So they got to get healthy on defense. They got to get back to controlling the line of scrimmage. They're not gonna go to the Super Bowl if they don't control the line of scrimmage.
Eldred's in North Carolina. What's up, Eldred?
Yeah, what?
Hey, Eldred.
Hey, fellas.
Hey,
fellas, how y'all doing? Merry Christmas. I'm sorry, I'm at the dock and the guy trying to talk. But
okay. Well, you need to go or what?
Tell him you got a podcast.
No, I'm good. And I agree and disagree.
Oh.
One, you got to shoot for the number 1 seed. I don't care.
Yeah.
You got that, because you got a chance that where LA looked against Dallas, Denver might be the next one to fall, and you got Jets and Dolphins. Go ahead. And Evan, give you your flowers, bro. Finally saw it. I ain't saying I'm always there, but I'm still there. But I still love we got the quarterback. You know what I mean? Because he did show that toughness and that clutch in that last drive. That's the only part of the game I had to see because I had to work that day. And I was jumping. But other than that, I'm happy. But we have to fight for that number 1 seed. That should be the number 1 thing that should be looking for.
Okay.
And I got to go.
All right.
Take it easy.
Yeah. I can just see Eldred making this call with the doctor in front of him saying cough.
Hold on. I got to talk to these guys. This is important.
Yeah. Pants down at his ankles. Patty's in Agawam. What's up, Patty?
What's up, guys? Freddie, Mikey, Merry Christmas. Evan, I hope your Hanukkah was great, buddy.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say one thing and then end with a question. If the Broncos, which they probably will win this week, if they win and we win, I would like to see them try and schedule both, the Chargers Broncos game and the Pats Dolphins game on Saturday, so we kind of know, I'm guessing if they do that, the Broncos Chargers game would be the primetime game, But I wanted to, I apologize. I wasn't able to hear the beginning of the show. I just wanted to ask you guys about Ramondre Stevenson. I think on Sunday night, he looked as good as he's looked maybe since like game one of last year. And, I think going forward, I think he's going to be important, obviously just in pass protection. But if he's healthy, and, whenever Travion Henderson comes back, if he's able to go full strength and he looks like that, I think we're going to be all right. I think we might make a deep playoff run. And I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. I'll take it off there.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, so quickly on the scheduling thing, if the number one seed's still up for grabs between the Patriots and the Broncos, they'll play at the same time. So they wouldn't play on Saturday because the Saturday games are going to be staggered. So they wouldn't give a team an out you find out that the Patriots lost.
Sit guys.
Yeah, and then now all of a sudden the Patriots are, we're starting Josh Dobbs, or whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, Ramondre, I thought that the cut on the little check down that he caught that he turned into like a 25-yard run was really, really impressive. Obviously the touchdown run was good too, but that cut, I haven't seen Ramondre move laterally like that and, elude a tackler like that in space in a minute. So that was good to see.
Just one question I have on the schedule stuff is, what are the Chargers got to play for in that last week? Is that
the division?
Right. So the division could be.
If the Chargers win in week 17, they're one game behind the Broncos, and if they beat the Broncos in that game, they win the division.
Okay.
They have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, so that game could be for the division, which could also impact things. That could be then become the Sunday night game.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of moving parts there, but for the most part, they try to align those teams so that you can't sit guys.
Yeah.
They don't want people to know ahead of time. If they
or give another team an advantage,
right?
Knowing we don't have to play,
right?
Sean's in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
Mike, I really want to thank you for doing the 1985 Patriots podcast. That was a special team for me.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
Actually, you're welcome. I actually attended the AFC Championship game in Miami. That was the first NFL game I ever went to.
Oh, wow.
It was amazing. Now, Paul mentioned earlier a lot of the rookies who've stood out this season. One player, and I can understand why you wouldn't mention there's so many contributions, is Julian Ashby. And I don't know enough about long snapper play, but I haven't heard his name mentioned to me. So to me, that means he's a success. So that could be added to the list.
Yeah.
In terms of the number one seed, I'm pretty sure the Patriots are going to win the next two games. Sorry, Fred. I think those could be your guarantees as well. Again, but I think it's up to the Chargers in the last game. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Go Pats! It's a great season. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Sean. Yeah, we're coming down to the wire. This is great.
We are.
This is good.
It's nice to not be just waiting for the season
right.
to end.
It's nice to be
feel
part
next
of
week's
it.
the last week. This is the last locker room. You just start checking boxes, and now it's the next 2 weeks kind of a grind. But playoffs, I'm let's just go. I mean playoffs.
I tell you, that is you bring that up, but during the dynasty, you got so used to being in the conversation throughout the playoffs, and when you're not. It's an empty feeling.
It is.
It's an empty feeling. We used to be that.
Yeah. Well, I was even thinking about going to the combine. Going to the
this
combine.
Time last
and here
2
we
years,
go,
I was already watching college tape. I was
right.
already talking about Drake May in the draft and Will Campbell and
remember watching Abdul Carter for Penn State.
Why the college football playoff was more interesting than the end of the Patriots season.
Yep. Yeah. Let's go to Danny in Daytona. Hey, Danny.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Hey, how's it going, Fred, Evan, and Deuce?
Yo, what's up?
So, to answer your point earlier, Fred, I'll admit this. At least I'm an honest person. I'm going to come out and say I wasn't one of those people that commented or trolled out there saying that, the Patriots are going to collapse. The only thing I was worried, and this is at least an honest assessment, the way the Patriots played, I had most of the game, I think Deuce came out and said it earlier in the show, they came out slow and sluggish. It looked terrible. And I was like, oh my, I started not panicking, but I'm like, this is terrible. This is not how you respond to a Buffalo game where you came pretty close, but you fell short. So I felt like we were falling off a cliff in that game. But then, because Drake made some very bad decisions. And I was like, wow, this is terrible. think that, like I said, he did come back clutch in the fourth quarter, which is awesome. I was glad to see him overcome that. He held himself accountable, like he said in the press conference in the Bills game, after the Bills game. So I give Drake May his flowers, but I am not like Paul's people, like Murray from 98.5. He was one to crucify Drake May after the game, saying this guy still don't forget the bad plays that he did. So I'm not going to be like Murray, but he did play bad, and I hope to see he keeps improving. And then the other thing I would say is, I didn't know that was Mike that called that play. I thought it was Jeremy, and I was going to call for Jeremy's job again. But I still think Jeremy should be fired. He was on the same staff with the Rams, and the Rams just fired their special teams coordinator. I don't know if you saw that. So Jeremy was working with him for the last couple of years.
Jeremy was with the Patriots last year, so I don't.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Danny.
Firing people. I did not think that Drake played that bad to start this game. I'm gonna be.
No, he made some bad mistakes.
I mean, the turnovers are the turnovers.
They were isolated.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a string of mistakes.
Yeah, I mean,
so it was,
opening drive they went right down the field. Like he threw a bad pick in the red zone.
I was just gonna say, like in terms of offense, they didn't start sluggishly. Now defense, it was like knife through hot butter.
Yeah, 6 plays.
We've seen that before on first drives.
Yeah.
And by the way, did you see the game last night? Both teams, boop boop boop, first drive.
Yeah.
So. That's a lot. That happens a lot in the NFL. Now we're the worst at it. There's no doubt. Our first drive defense is not good. But
you think, but at some point, Fred, that you'd kind of be like, no, it's just what we do, and that's like what gives me.
Yeah, but I don't want to be like that.
But you have to build up that confidence, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that we're close to that.
Yeah.
That might just be what they are is a team that makes adjustments and. On the fly, but they haven't built up that equity that you feel like, okay, they'll level off.
But here's the thing, yes, you were in a tough spot on Sunday night, but I don't have the same feeling when this team's in a tough spot than last year or the year before, because our offense was dreadful.
Yep.
That's not the case. My hope in this game was one of two things, and I wrote it. That was my opening statement on the blog. I said, I feel like to win this game, it's a tough matchup, but to win this game, one of two things happens. Either our offense has to play really well or our defense has to play really well. I think it's unreasonable to think both sides are going to play really well. And my thinking is that, listen, if our defense plays the way it's been playing the last few games, I have faith that our offense is going to keep up.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And that's what I was kind of hoping for.
Well, that Evan said about the equity of it and built up. But to me, what equity has been built up is that I think this team's going to be a tough out, no matter how bad they play on defense. I think they've shown that resilience throughout the year. Where they've had a lot of bad starts, but they always seem to find a way to make a push and kind of pull it together and adjust to the to what the other team is doing. So it's just and that effort and finish thing. I see that all the time with this team. So. I wouldn't want to play the Patriots no matter who gets healthy, who doesn't. Just, with Drake May and just the way the team plays overall.
Yeah, so their first 4 drives on offense in the game on Sunday night, interception in the red zone, touchdown, field goal, fumble in field goal territory. They were moving the ball all night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you don't move the ball like that if the quarterback is playing bad. The second half against Buffalo, he played bad.
Yeah.
Right? We can say that. But this game, I really, outside of the 2 turnovers, and I know that the turnovers are a big deal, but I'm telling, this was not, he was really, really good in this game.
Yeah.
Really good.
Riley writes in, I called in last week and made a statement regarding May's fourth quarter comeback against the Ravens. I stated that they are one of the top-rated defenses in the league as of late, to which Paul retorted that they are not. While I understand your role as the bad guy and your tendency to disagree with the majority of takes, facts are facts and numbers don't lie. From weeks 5 to 16 of the 2025 season, the Ravens defense has been elite, and here are some stats to back up my claim. 1, allowed the fewest touchdowns in the NFL, 9 over an 8-week span. 2, number 1 in red zone defense. Number 3 in points allowed, 15.3. Number 3 in QB hits, 53. And tied for number 5 in takeaways, 13. 3, went from only 2 takeaways in the first 5 games to 8 in the subsequent 4. In conclusion, while I respect your role, I encourage a closer look at the facts before dismissing the claim so quickly. I noticed that too. Paul was very dismissive of the Ravens defense, even just today. But as of late, the Ravens defense played a lot better than it did early in the season.
But it's been since like week 6. Like,
yeah.
So I agree with the emailer. I didn't want to get into it with Paul, so I just kind of let it go. But they started out like historically bad.
Yes.
By Baltimore standards. Since week 6 on, they like flipped a switch, and the emailer is 100% right. Their stats are they're second in scoring defense. They were have been very, very good for like 2 months now. Defensively, this is the same defense that a week ago shut out Joe Burrow for the first time in his NFL career. Joe Burrow had never been shut out as an NFL quarterback until the Ravens defense did it to him a couple weeks ago. And then Drake Maye just went out and put 14 on the board in the fourth quarter against that same defense. So the emailer is 100% spot on. This Ravens defense has been much, much better.
Right. Paul likes to diminish the accomplishments of the home team.
It was one of the, sometimes when Paul says something and like you have,
I know you got to pick your battles. You got
yeah,
to choose your battles with
right.
him because he'll battle. Well,
I just didn't want to get into it.
My thing is when Paul like misinterprets a point you're trying to make, and then he starts arguing against a point you weren't trying to make, and now you're like, that's not what.
See, the thing I've learned over my 30 years with Paul Perillo is that he has a lot of arguments going on in his head.
Yeah.
He has a lot of takes that he's getting ready to defend down the road.
Right. Strategic.
And
his preemptive strikes.
That's a lot of what's going on with him. I see right through it. Sam from St. Catharines, call me crazy, but I'd rather rest my starters this week over next week. The Jets stink, and we should be able to beat them with our backups. I don't want Drake or any of our important players anywhere near the MetLife turf.
I know.
That is true. That is probably what I scare most about this game is that turf.
Yeah, I know.
Might be Chisholm time.
I hear you.
Wait, Paul, I have a question for you. When was the first time after hiring Paul that you're like, this guy is special? Like, he likes to yell. He's ready to go on. Like, I mean, did you know when you hired him that like, because you didn't have a radio show when you hired him, right? Like, you were hiring him as a writer, and you didn't realize like his true superpower was really like, getting in arguments and debating people.
Well. I also had a guy named Brian Morey.
Oh, well, there you go.
And they would go at it.
There you go.
They would go at it. As you know,
the precedent was set.
The talk doesn't stop when the microphones are off around here. And the talk began a long time before the microphones were turned on. And he and Morey would go at it. They would go at it. And then Morey would bring out the media guide and just start banging away at facts, and Paul would just get, they would go at it.
And you just sit back and push the mic away and they look what I've created.
Yeah. One of the best days in Paul's life was when Brian left. Yeah.
Which time?
The first time. So, now, yeah. So,
and then Andy came in and you're like, oh boy, more fuel for the fire.
Oh, yeah. And Paul, I mean, like he and his brother used to go at it all the time.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Paul surprised me though. I thought that all the nerd stuff that I say, I thought he was gonna just scold me if 24. He's more open-minded than you might think.
Yeah.
Like he's willing to listen to some of it.
He's our clock management guy. I mean, he brought up. I mean, give Paul credit for. I pointed out. I thought Brendan Schooler had just an outstanding kickoff tackle on that last kickoff where they had been kicking out of bounds. They finally kicked it. And I said, well, why do they choose to kick it there? And then Paul was like, well, they might be trying to get the run to get to the 2-minute warning to burn that clock stock, which hadn't even occurred to me. But Paul, who is, very astute on clock management and those kind of things. But that play was great by Schooler. I never watched the special teams really when I'm going back to it, but I was like, I got to watch this one play. And that, I think, to me, summed up why Brendan Schooler is a special teams player, especially going back last week when they got, torched by a couple times that, just the ability, full speed, make a guy miss, get right around, boom, tackle the guy like the 31.
Don't awesome. Tell Paul that.
No,
I would just it doesn't even need to be like in a formal setting or on the record.
He did a good job.
I just want Paul and Stretch. I just want to watch them talk about the clock management stuff. Because I feel like that's like me like talking to like Vrabel or Josh or something like that, where you're just like, this is my dream come true, right? I just get the two of them in a room and let them talk ball.
Like
Let's see what they got.
Stretch is gonna say something. Paul's like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is magic.
Yeah. No, that would be a good conversation to listen to. I certainly wouldn't want to partake because I get a popsicle headache thinking about all that.
Way
stuff.
out of my depth in that conversation.
Kyle from Pembroke, 2 Stump the Grump questions for Paul. He's not here, so we'll try to answer him. When was the last time the Jets swept the Patriots?
Swept the Patriots? I don't know.
I mean, was that like 98?
Close. Little late. It happened after that.
Oh, it did.
2000.
I was going to say 2000.
Okay. Yeah, it felt like in that little.
Yeah.
It was a bad year, so I figured.
When did the Jets first beat a Tom Brady-led Patriots team? The first time they beat a team with Tom Brady at quarterback.
06 regular season?
Or before that.
I don't know.
02, week 16.
Oh.
30 to 17.
I don't think about that season ever.
Paul would have got that.
Yeah.
Before my time.
He would have got it.
Yeah. 02.
I was like 9.
What went wrong?
Hey, did you see what happened with Metcalf?
Yeah, suspended.
Yeah.
2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was? Why'd they get into it?
But more so, do you know how much money he lost?
Yeah, it voids the contract.
$45 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're appealing, so we'll see.
Yeah.
You know.
That's crazy. What do I mean? I saw him push the guy. Do we know what started? Did he just
the guy
walk over
said
to him
something, and nothing was thrown or anything like that. So he said something, and he came and you saw he pulled him down. And
the guy was asking for an autograph. Alternative video came out.
Oh, so why did he do that then? If he was just asking for an autograph,
I think he well, this guy called him by his first name, and social media's thinking he didn't like being called by his first name.
Oh, okay, that's right. He said that he used his full name, which was like
D something.
Something, yeah. So
Declan, maybe.
But maybe he's got a thing about that.
Yeah.
Well,
it's going to cost him $45 million.
And maybe that guy knew he has a thing about that. I don't know. But whatever he said, he got to him.
It's Declan.
Nobody.
I thought it
by
was.
my own
I thought it
first
was
name.
Declan, but it's spelled a little funky.
Yeah.
So it's spelled DEKAYLIN. So that's why he goes by DK because it's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great show, says Hector in Pennsylvania. I'm not critical of the team, and we need to enjoy the success as Patriots fans, but I do have a concern over the defense. And this question is for Evan.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Is the defensive scheme hurting Gonzo's player, or is he not completely healed? I know he was selected to the Pro Bowl, but sometimes once you've been selected, they keep selecting you, even though you don't have a good season compared to the season prior. Just concerned about it because if the defensive scheme doesn't suit him, I feel he won't be here long.
It's a fair concern. Yeah, I can't put my finger on it either. And it's just an eye test thing, like the numbers, if you want to go by the charting numbers of his completion percentage and the touchdowns he's actually allowed. And it's not that bad. It's all pretty much in the ballpark of what it's been in other years. But when you watch it, there's just more reps to me with him that are just non-competitive than what you're used to seeing. And a lot of it is that off zone or off man stuff. And I don't think he's the best zone corner. I think he gets a little bit lost at the top of the route, and
especially come up and tackle.
Yeah, and the tackling and these offenses nowadays, so much of the run game now is played out in space, and they're trying to get the defensive backs in the point of attack and try to run at corners and safeties instead of running at defensive linemen and linebackers. And that means that your corners have to take on blocks, they have to tackle, they have to be willing and able to do those different types of things. I don't know what it is.
Well, if the hamstring is still hampering him, or if it's something else, if I was his agent, I'd try to leak that out there.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's contracts coming up either with this team or some other team, and I'd want the world to know that he's not 100%.
Yeah. So this will be his 5th year pickup in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of deep dive on next gen of all the amount of zone and different coverages they're playing according to next gen. But I think it's important to highlight they still play a lot of man. They're still above the league average in man, but they play 30% as opposed to the old Belichick 2019, which is 60% man. So it's a complicated question to me because I think generally speaking, they want to play zone on first and second down, keep eyes on the quarterback, come up and tackle. And on third down, they want to man you up and make you beat them. So there still is a value to having a man corner, but it's just how valuable is it? Where it's you're not playing man 60% of the snaps now, where that's pretty much what Stephon Gilmore 2019 defensive MVP is doing. So it's a tough question to answer, and it's also I've always kind of defaulted to your front seven makes your defense. If you got a great front seven, you'll kind of make do with what the secondary is, and the cupboards are kind of bare at the edge spots right now, especially long term. You're at least you're gonna have to figure out what to do with Chase on. So, is there an argument to be made that a man-heavy team like Detroit that does play that much man might say he's worth a first-round pick to us, and you can say
2 first-round picks. I mean, Sauce went for 2, and I think Gonzo's a better player than Sauce.
There you go. So I don't rule those kind of conversations out that you want to readjust your resources with a defense that, let's face it, they need help. They're going to need a lot of help this offseason. There's going to be, Evan and I have already been talking about the edge class and that being a potential area to, bring somebody in. So it's a great conversation to have and discussion. But, at the end of the day, you've got a world-class athlete at cornerback. And that, to me, is like kind of my default of like, these guys do not grow on trees. He's a special mover. And a lot of these games, too, haven't really been matchups that show you what his value is. Now you got him like, well, we got to stick him on Flowers because Marcus Jones is banged up. And, so I continue to think that if we get into maybe one of these matchups like against Houston, where they do have some outside receivers that like you want to man up, that maybe you'll start to say, oh, yeah, that's why we have Gonzo. Because, I don't want to pull it up right now, but there are games where they play a bunch of man too. So to me, when I look at like their schematics and all that, Ev, I don't know how you feel, but I just feel like they're all over the map. Like they have no tendencies. It's like you just, they're generally a little bit more man, but otherwise you don't really know what you're going to get.
They're definitely, one of those defenses, I think, on first and second down. I know all the off coverage drives people nuts, but in today's day and age, you got to give up something. Mm-hmm. You can't just expect to take away every blade of grass against these offenses. And I think a lot of what you see with them on early downs is like, let's limit the big plays. Let's keep things in front of us. Let's make them march. Let's make them go down the field on us. And that's a fine strategy. It's just not. I know people drive every week. I have people in my replies saying like, "Why are they playing so much zone? Why are they playing off the line of scrimmage?" Well, because it's 1st and 10 from like the 35, and they're not going to just cover 0, every single play. So like they're trying to manage the situation and manage the game. He's a great player, and I think that's where my frustrations come from with it. Because I know how good he is, and I know that he can be the best corner in the league. Yeah. And for whatever reason, this just hasn't been the year where he showcased that. And I don't know what the answers to that. And I think a piece of me too, like I would hate to see him get traded. Like they drafted a star cornerback in the first round. It was one of the only draft picks in that time frame that they actually hit on. Mm-hmm. He's a great player. He's young, he's talented, everything. And because it's not like a perfect fit, like they're gonna end up trading. Like I would hate that. Yeah, that would be terrible. So I'd hope that they can find a way to figure it out with him.
Well, then you swap it. Sorry, Fred, but then you swap it out for like a tough guy who can come up and tackle and play zone on early downs. But then you get the third down against the good teams in the playoffs. Where another thing I truly believe is that you need athletes to match athletes. You're going to go against Jamar Chase. You don't want to go in with a guy, he's a great zone tackler. He plays great in zone. He comes up and tackles. You're going to need those guys against the best teams. So let's just wait and see, too, how they match up against those good teams.
Jake is in Alabama. I recently got stationed at Fort Rucker, Alabama to train to be a Black Hawk pilot, and I'm living in a little town called Enterprise. Cool. Thank you for your service. Good luck with that. I just saw that Marcus Jones donated some money to the high school football program here, as it's where he's from. So I'll let him know Paul says hi when I see him. I have some friends who are Bears, Commanders, and Broncos fans, and we were talking about which team is in a better place right now. Bears and Pats have the QB advantage. Broncos have the better roster. Commanders are going to have a good picks and their QB coming back. Interested to hear where you would rank these teams for 2026 and beyond. So it goes like this. It's Patriots, Bears, Broncos, Commanders. That's the order.
Patriots, Bears, Broncos, Commanders.
Patriots number 1. They have the best quarterback.
I'm just going to take the Patriots out of it for the purpose of these conversations. But, I mean, I think that Chicago has a ton of talent. I just continue to wonder, like, if it starts to go a little sad. Those guys are just weird. The head coach is a little weird to me. The quarterback's a little weird to me.
Don't you talk about Ben Johnson like
He's
that.
a little weird, which is fine. I mean, he's doing a great job getting his team to play. But, like, you just wonder when things start to go a little sideways, or we're going to keep the train on the rails. But they're really talented. And Baltimore, Denver, big fan of Sean, Payton, and I know Bo Nix is what he is, but I still think they got a great defense. They're always going to be playing in Denver.
Well, every week
they're a tough team. Washington, I'm kind of like, I don't know, because now you're getting away from that free agency class of 2 years ago. What kind of work are they going to do this year? Is McLaurin still going to be McLaurin? Or Debo. I mean, they got to reload, I think. So I put them at the bottom.
Logan from Myrtle Beach writes in complaining about the non-pass interference call.
Yeah.
But his email just kind of reminded me of something. Would Booty have hit his head that hard on the ground had he not been pulled down?
Probably
because
not.
You're
Probably not. He's got his legs tagged
right.
up, yeah.
So now you come down with a certain amount of knowledge about how I'm going to fall, but all of a sudden you have this extra and now there's something you didn't plan for.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to be upset about that call, is because he might have been sidelined because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Not that the call would have helped his head, but the fact is it was pass interference, and him hitting the head almost proved that it was.
Yeah.
One last point I'll make on that, though, and I think you guys probably talked about it. We gave the team credit for not letting that get caught up in that call and continuing to stay the course and still going down and getting the touchdown. A lot of us probably would have been throwing a hissy fit, but
a lot of people in the press box were throwing a hissy fit.
We're not supposed to say anything, and I did. I think I said that's ridiculous. I said that out loud.
No, the only thing I think I said the entire game, I know we have to go, is that when Chason stripped him, I can't help it. Ball. Like I was like the ball's on the ground. Like I can't help it. Like it's
ingrained in you from the Needham High days.
No matter what team it is, it doesn't not
Yeah.
just the Patriots. Like it just is automatic when you see a ball on the
Get on it.
Well, whenever there's a fumble, Evan stands up and points, our ball. Yeah.
Ball.
Yeah. All right, that's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. I hope Eldred is doing okay in this doctor's appointment.
Yeah, good luck, Eldred.
I hope we didn't interrupt anything. And if you want to go listen to Paul, he's on one of his shows.
Go on the Felger.
I think everyone should call in that listens to this show and complain that he left the show early. I think everyone should do that. That would be fun. All right. We'll see you tomorrow and Catch 22 tomorrow.
Same time.
At 10
Normal
o'clock.
time.
Special Christmas Eve edition.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.